Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Spacing Out. I'm Maureen Elsberry.
And I'm Alejandro Rojas. Thank you for joining us.
We're here to get you caught up on the news, so here are some of the UFO stories that are making headlines recently. A man in Richmond, Virginia reported a UFO sighting to the Mutual UFO Network, in which he claims he observed and photographed a UFO over his neighbor's tree.
MUFON's communications director, Roger Marsh, posted about this sighting on openminds.tv. He explains that the witness was outside walking when the object was first noticed at approximately 11:33 p.m. on August 24th.
I was prompted to notice a small glowing weird rod-shaped object hovering approximately 30 feet above the ground in the flimsy, leafy outer branches of a large tree behind a house in my tranquil, heavily wooded suburban neighborhood of Stratford Hills in Richmond, Virginia, the witness stated. The area is part of the witness's regular walking route.
He continued, "I'm 54 years old and I've been walking this route nearly every day for 10 years, and what I beheld at 11:33 p.m. on a very quiet Sunday night was abnormal and totally out of place. Most of my neighbors probably were in bed."
Something odd caught the witness's attention, he explained. "I was fortunate to view the mysterious glowing object that seemed to be hiding up in the tree, and I partially attribute my good fortune to the fact that it was the new moon, the darkest night of the month." Describing the object, he stated, "The silent UFO first was rod-shaped with a glowing blue light on the left end and a pinkish-violet light on the right end. It was hovering horizontally in a place where a human could not be. It was not a newfangled bug zapper, and there are no cable TV or electric lines running near the tree, and definitely not at that height. No logic for the uncanny, faintly glowing lights in the tree."
The witness used an iPhone 4S with no zoom to shoot video of the object and then switched to shooting still images in order to zoom in. 30 images were shot over a 10-minute period.
He explained, "During this time, the small, anomalous, cylindrical UFO entity morphed into an orb, which sometimes appeared cobalt blue and other times violet with a freaky purplish core. Then it morphed back into a rod that was more white-colored and appeared to be segmented, reminiscent of a bacterial rod under a microscope."
Upon reviewing the images, the witness cannot identify the object and was later intrigued that the object appeared to emit a sound. He stated, "This flying object ain't one of ours, not a drone, stealth bomber, planet Venus, or swamp gas. I did not hear any sounds coming from the object that night, but later when I downloaded the video, I was surprised to discover that my iPhone had picked up some intriguing clicking noises, and when I showed the video to my neighbor, she said, 'It sounds like Morse code.'"
The witness is still out walking in the same area at night and has not noticed the object again.
Many believe that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists somewhere in the universe. Poll after poll demonstrates that most people share this belief. But if intelligent extraterrestrials are out there, should humans attempt to contact them?
This question was recently posed to 1,000 adults in the United States as part of the YouGov Huffington Post survey conducted July 17th through the 19th of this year. Those polled were first asked, "Do you think there is intelligent life on other planets or not?" 50% responded yes, while 19% responded no. 31% were not sure.
Participants were then asked, "Do you think it would be possible for humans to make contact with intelligent life on other planets or not?" 46% of those polled indicated that they are optimistic about our ability to contact aliens. 23% don't believe it's possible, while 31% are not sure.
Now, although the majority of the individuals polled believe that communication with extraterrestrials is feasible, the poll reveals that many have qualms about attempting contact with unknown civilizations. The poll asked, "Do you think it is a good idea or a bad idea for scientists to try to make contact with intelligent life on other planets?" Now, only 37% of those polled feel that attempting contact is a good idea, while 27% think contact is a bad idea. 36% were unsure.
Some of the poll's data might be flawed, however, because when those who oppose attempting contact were asked, which comes closest to your opinion on why it's a bad idea for scientists to try to make contact with intelligent life on other planets, 73% selected the response, thinks trying to make contact is a good idea or isn't sure.
If this question was truly only posed to those who already indicated that they think attempting contact with extraterrestrials is a bad idea, then why would thinks trying to make contact is a good idea be a response option to the question? The answer is unclear.
But other respondents felt that attempting contact with extraterrestrials isn't worth the expense, even if it does work. Others noted a fear of alerting malevolent aliens to our presence as a reason for not attempting to contact alien civilizations.
National Geographic, like most cable networks, has repeatedly featured UFO-related programming. And based on one of their upcoming shows, it doesn't appear that the network plans to get out of the UFO business anytime soon.
Invasion Earth is Natgeo's latest stab at UFO programming. The network's description of the series states, "Have humans really seen crafts and beings from other planets? Or is there a perfectly reasonable explanation for these sightings?" Invasion Earth investigates the world's most intriguing UFO sightings to answer the age-old question, are we alone? With the help of scientists, aviation, and military experts, all the evidence is thoroughly examined and tested.
This series is airing under a few different names in different parts of the world. Its title in the UK is UFO Alien Invasion, its US title is UFO Conspiracies, and in other locations, including Australia, where the series is being broadcast with its native title Invasion Earth. The show is produced by London-based Pioneer Productions for National Geographic.
This series explores several UFO cases familiar to UFO researchers, including the 1980 Cash-Landrum UFO encounter and the 1965 Kecksburg UFO incident. Natgeo's Australia website has a full episode list detailing what will be explored in each episode of the series. Nick Pope, former head of the UK Ministry of Defence's UFO desk, is a featured talking head in this series. According to Blue Blurry Lines UFO, Alien Invasion and Invasion Earth premiered on Friday, October 31st, while UFO Conspiracies doesn't premiere in the U.S. until Wednesday, December 14, on the Science Channel.
A politician in Sri Lanka said a team of white gentlemen from an international space agency tried to steal meteor fragments that prove alien life.
According to the Sri Lanka's Daily Mirror newspaper, Minister Wimal Weerawamsa, the leader of Sri Lanka's Jatika Nidahas Piramuna political party, told a crowd at a temple that the attempted theft was part of a Western creationist attempt to undermine Buddhist teachings of the universe. He says, this team attempted to take hold of this valuable evidence almost immediately after local scientists had made this vital discovery.
Why did they do this, he asked. It's because they don't want the world to know that creationism is a blatant lie. When it is proven that life outside planet Earth exists, creationism would turn into a lie. This was a fact that was initially declared and proven by the Buddha and his teachings on the universe, he said.
The alleged attempt to steal the meteor fragments has apparently not made it into Western news as of yet. However, the claims that the meteor fragments hold evidence for extraterrestrial life have. According to a paper in the Journal of Cosmology published in February 2014, the meteor fragments were found in a paddy field in the Sri Lankan district of Anuradhapura in December 2013.
In this paper, scientists from the Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology, the Buckingham Center for Astrobiology at the University of Buckingham, and the Medical Research Institute in Colombo, Sri Lanka, claim that they found what they believe to be complex biological structures inside the fragments, which are not of terrestrial origins.
In other words, these scientists claim they discovered extraterrestrial life, and as one would imagine, their claims have made headlines. In fact, their repeated claims of the discovery of extraterrestrial life had made headlines. The last time being earlier this month, when Professor Milton Wainwright, also from the Buckingham Center for Astrobiology, shared images of something he calls a dragon particle.
Milton and his colleagues believe the dragon particle is a space-borne biological entity they retrieved using balloons they floated into the stratosphere. Besides these two cases, the scientists at the Buckingham Center for Astrobiology have made other announcements over the years of other discoveries of microorganisms they believe have come from space. In fact, members of their group have been credited with developing the theory of panspermia. This is the idea that life is abundant throughout the universe and is spread via asteroids and meteoroids.
So if indeed these white gentlemen tried to steal the meteor fragments, their attempts to hide the truth from the world were thwarted. However, the belief in creationism does not seem to have suffered much from the announcements of these scientists. Their discoveries have largely been disputed. Many scientists believe the microorganisms they have found were the result of contamination from the Earth.
Creationists do not seem to be the Buckingham Center for Astrobiology's biggest adversaries. Rather, it seems to be other scientists. But rest assured that Milton and his colleagues have been working hard to prove extraterrestrial life exists, and their evidence seems to be growing.
I can find no details about an attempted theft of the meteor fragments, The director of the Buckingham Center for Astrobiology is Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe, who was born in Sri Lanka. Perhaps it was some of his colleagues that Wirrawamsa mistook for meddling creationists, or perhaps Wirrawamsa was partaking in some political rhetoric. Sometimes politicians do that sort of thing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this? Because, again, we have a lot of people saying that all over the world that microorganisms have been discovered that they believe are not a contamination from Earth. But this whole idea that these white men from some international space agency or...
Yeah, I don't know. We had Dr. Hoover, who is actually also part of this Astrobiology Institute at the Congress last year. He didn't mention anything about anything being stolen. These guys have been in the news a lot, including Dr. Wainwright. He didn't mention anything about anybody trying to steal anything. So I kind of mark this down as this politician, kind of some rhetoric, trying to gain some support against, Western creationism and kind of rallying the troops around Buddhist beliefs and stuff like that. It was done at a temple. So I kind of think that it is a political rhetoric kind of answer. So, but it's just an interesting story that he should pull this out.
Right. I think it's interesting too because we've talked about this a lot, how the discovery of extraterrestrial life may not affect religions the way people think it would. And even the Pope has just recently come out and said that he believes both the Big Bang Theory, creationism, that they're all right.
Right, and that's a really good point. I think he's trying to say, like lots of SETI scientists have said, that once the discovery of extraterrestrial life happens, especially Judeo-Christian type of religions are really going to be messed up because their theology doesn't fit that model. But as we see with the Pope, they've kind of already adjusted to this. So it's not going to have as big of an impact, I don't think, as many of these scientists are saying, or as this politician believes. So really, I think it was rhetoric, and even if it does happen, and as we've seen, these things have hit the headlines. And I think what's exciting about this is I think this Center for Astrobiology in Buckingham is really gaining ground. I mean, their evidence seems to be mounting. I think Dr. Hoover was really convincing when he spoke at the Congress. I think it's just a matter of time before their evidence mounts so much so that people can't disregard that they do have evidence for extraterrestrial life.
Right, and I would encourage everyone to actually check out the video we have on our YouTube. That's username Open Minds TV, which has Richard Hoover's interview with Lee Spiegel on there. It's pretty fascinating stuff. But that's all for this episode of Spacing Out. Please visit our website, openminds.tv, for all the latest UFO news. And also don't forget to register for the International UFO Congress, the largest annual UFO conference in the world. And that's taking place February 18th through the 22nd in Fountain Hills, Arizona. All the events information is at ufocongress.com.
Let us know if you enjoyed today's episode by liking the episode on YouTube and leaving us your comments in the section below. You can also download our podcast, Open Minds UFO Radio, on iTunes or at openminds.tv/radio. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm Alejandro Rojas.
And I'm Maureen Elsberry. We'll see you in the future.